The crystalline spires of Etheria Prime pierced the violet sky like ancient daggers, their surfaces reflecting the light of 3 setting suns. Within the highest tower, in a chamber where holographic star maps danced through the air like fireflies, General Nixis stood before the High Council with her head held high, her iridescent armor catching every shimmer of starlight. The council members, with their elongated features and luminescent skin, sat in a perfect circle around her. Their eyes, each containing spiral galaxies of their own, focused intently on their most decorated warrior. Supreme Counselor Vexthor's voice resonated through the chamber, each word carrying the weight of centuries. The primitive species on Earth has become a cancer in our galaxy, he declared, his words echoing off the living crystal walls. Their technological advancement rate exceeds all predicted models. Within decades, they will discover the quantum fold drive. Their inherent violence, combined with such power, cannot be allowed to spread. Nixis's silver eyes narrowed as she processed the holographic data streaming before her. Humanity's history played out in brutal snippets, wars, environmental destruction, and relentless expansion. Yet something about their resilience stirred an unfamiliar emotion within her. Your mission, Vexthor continued, is to eliminate this threat. You will deploy our most advanced weaponry. Earth must be cleansed before they reach beyond their solar system. Nixis flexed her fingers, feeling the neural connections to her biomechanical enhancements surge with power. She had been engineered for warfare, enhanced beyond even Etherian standards. Each of her cells contained computational power exceeding Earth's most advanced supercomputers. Her mind could process battle scenarios faster than light could cross a room. The humans have primitive planetary defenses, she observed, analyzing their military capabilities. Their most advanced weapons are nuclear devices and kinetic rail systems. They will offer minimal resistance. Council member Lyra, known for her occasional sympathy toward developing species, leaned forward. We have observed an unusual trait among humans. They become most dangerous when cornered. Do not underestimate them based on their technological limitations. Nixis accessed her ship's systems remotely, beginning preparation sequences. The Stellar Blade, her personal warship, was a masterpiece of Etherian engineering. Its quantum crystalline hull could absorb most energy weapons, and its arsenal could reduce continents to ash. As she studied Earth's defenses more closely, she noticed peculiarities in their development pattern. Unlike other species that advanced uniformly, humans showed sporadic bursts of innovation, often driven by crisis. Their adaptability was remarkable, if troubling. The mission parameters are clear, Vexthor declared. You have 30 Earth days to complete the cleansing. We cannot risk them detecting our presence and accelerating their development. Nixis bowed, a gesture of acceptance that had become ritual over her centuries of service. I understand, Supreme Counselor. Earth will be eliminated efficiently and completely. As she strode from the chamber, her mind was already formulating attack strategies. The humans' scattered population centers would require multiple strikes. Their nuclear arsenals needed to be neutralized first to prevent desperate retaliation. Their space observation systems would have to be blinded before her main attack could begin. Yet as her ship prepared for departure, Nixis found herself studying human culture with increasing fascination. Their art, their music, their endless stories of overcoming impossible odds, it was chaotic and beautiful in ways Etherian perfection had never achieved. Their emotions ran deep and raw, unfiltered by centuries of genetic refinement. The Stellar Blade broke free from Etheria Prime's atmosphere, its quantum drives humming with barely contained power. As the ship accelerated toward the first fold point, Nixis initiated her pre-battle meditation. But instead of the usual calm, her thoughts kept returning to the humans' determination to survive, to thrive against all odds. Computer, she commanded, display Earth's current defensive readiness status. The holographic display showed their military installations, their early warning systems, their space monitoring networks. Primitive, yes, but arranged with an intuitive brilliance that spoke of natural tactical skill. These humans understood the art of war, even if their tools were rudimentary. As her ship prepared for the quantum fold that would take her to Earth's solar system, Nixis felt an unfamiliar sensation, doubt. Not about her ability to complete the mission, but about its necessity. In all her centuries of service, she had never questioned the Council's wisdom. Yet something about this mission felt different. The quantum fold drive engaged, ripping a hole through space-time. As her ship entered the swirling vortex, Nixis made a decision that would alter the fate of two civilizations. She would study these humans more closely before striking. Understanding one's enemy was essential for victory. At least, that's what she told herself as she authorized deeper scans of human culture and history. The stellar blade emerged at the edge of Earth's solar system, its advanced stealth systems rendering it invisible to human detection methods. Nixis gazed at the distant blue planet through her ship's quantum imaging system. Such a small world to have produced a species capable of threatening galactic stability. Such a fragile sphere to require her personal attention. Little did she know that her mission would uncover truths that would shake the foundations of both civilizations, and that the next 30 days would change everything she thought she knew about duty, justice, and the true meaning of advancement. The Lunar Defense Station Artemis 7 exploded in complete silence. From Earth, it would have appeared as nothing more than a brief flash among the stars, easily dismissed as satellite debris or a meteor burning up in the atmosphere. But for Lieutenant Commander Ray Tanaka, watching from the bridge of the EDS Sentinel, it represented humanity's first casualty in a war they didn't even know had begun. Multiple quantum signatures detected, reported her tactical officer, hands flying across the holographic interface. Nothing matching known configurations, Commander. Whatever's out there, it's like nothing we've ever seen. Ray's dark eyes narrowed as she studied the tactical display. After 15 years in Earth's defense force, she had earned a reputation for unconventional thinking and an almost supernatural ability to predict enemy movements. But this was different. The attack patterns defied conventional logic, yet displayed an elegance that bordered on artistic. "They're testing us," she murmured, more to herself than her crew. "Each strike is precisely calculated to gauge our response time, our defensive capabilities, our command structure." She straightened in her command chair. "And they're doing it without revealing themselves. Clever." Aboard the stellar blade, Nixis observed the humans' response to her probing attacks with growing interest. Their reactions were faster than anticipated, their strategies more sophisticated. They had already begun adapting their defense patterns, learning from each engagement, even as their outposts fell one by one. "Fascinating," she whispered, watching as the human vessels attempted to establish a defensive perimeter around their moon. Their ships were primitive by Etherian standards, yet they moved with precision and coordination that spoke of extensive training and natural tactical instinct. A transmission from the High Council waited in her queue, but Nixis delayed its acceptance. Something about this Commander Tanaka's tactics demanded her full attention. The human officer had managed to preserve 70% of her forces despite facing vastly superior technology, an achievement that should have been impossible. On the Sentinel, Ray was piecing together a pattern from the seemingly random attacks. They're methodical, almost academic in their approach. She pulled up a three-dimensional map of the engagement zone. Each strike tests a different aspect of our capabilities, but they're being careful not to reveal too much about their own. "Commander," her communications officer interrupted, "we're receiving reports of similar attacks on Mars Colony and the Jupiter mining stations. It's coordinated, but the enemy forces seem concentrated here, in lunar orbit." Ray felt a chill run down her spine. Whoever their opponent was, they were being studied, categorized, and evaluated. Like specimens in a laboratory. "All ships, execute Protocol Omega-7, she commanded. "Let's show them something they haven't seen before." Nixis's silver eyes widened as the human fleet suddenly scattered, each vessel seeming to flee in panic. a predictable response to overwhelming force, except. Her tactical systems screamed warnings as the human ships abruptly cut power, using the moon's gravity to slingshot themselves into attack positions. Impressive, she acknowledged, allowing herself a moment of admiration before engaging her ship's defensive systems. The humans had turned their technological limitations into an advantage, using natural physics to achieve what their engines could not. It was exactly the kind of adaptability that made them dangerous. The battle that followed was unlike anything in either civilization's history. Ray's forces, though hopelessly outgunned, managed to land several hits on the alien vessel's stealth field, briefly revealing its crystalline structure. Nixus, for her part, found herself holding back, increasingly reluctant to destroy such worthy opponents. Commander Tanaka, Ray's executive officer, reported, "Analysis of the enemy vessel's energy emissions suggests their weapons are operating at less than 10% capacity. They could have destroyed us at any time, but they're playing with us." Ray shook her head, her mind racing. "No, not playing. Studying. Learning." She pulled up the tactical display again, examining the pattern of attacks. "They want to understand us before they destroy us. The question is, why?" In her command chamber aboard the Stellar Blade, Nixus was asking herself the same question. The Council's intelligence had been wrong, or perhaps deliberately misleading. These humans were not mindless barbarians. Their tactics showed creativity, courage, and most surprisingly, restraint. Even in the face of certain defeat, they fought with discipline and honor. A priority alert from her long-range sensors interrupted her thoughts. The humans had managed to launch a quantum pulse from a hidden facility on Mars, aimed directly at Etheria Prime. It would take years to reach its target at their level of technology, but the mere fact that they had developed such capability was shocking. "Computer, analyze the quantum pulse's signature," she commanded. The results confirmed her growing suspicions. The humans hadn't stumbled upon this technology by accident. Someone had guided them toward it, someone with intimate knowledge of Etherian science. As Ray organized her remaining forces for another counterattack, she felt a strange sensation, as if someone were studying her personally, looking not just at her tactics but into her very nature. "All ships, maintain defensive formation Delta," she ordered. "They've had plenty of chances to destroy us. Let's find out what they really want." The next few hours would prove crucial for both civilizations, as warrior and commander engaged in an intricate dance of strategy and counter-strategy, each learning more about the other with every move. Neither could have predicted how their encounter would unlock secrets that both their governments had worked centuries to keep hidden, or how their growing mutual respect would challenge everything they thought they knew about their place in the galaxy. The quantum archives beneath Etheria Prime held secrets older than most civilizations. Nixus moved silently through the crystalline corridors, her stealth systems rendering her nearly invisible even to the archive's sophisticated security measures. What she had discovered during the Earth engagement couldn't be coincidence, and she needed answers. The humans' quantum pulse technology was too similar to Etherian designs. Their defensive strategies showed signs of preparation against specifically Etherian weapons. Someone had been preparing Earth for this conflict, and the trail led here, to the most secure facility in the galaxy. "Security breach in Archive Level Omega," announced the facility's AI, its voice echoing through the empty halls. But Nixus was already 3 levels deeper, her enhanced systems having rewritten the security logs microseconds before the alarm was triggered. In her private quarters aboard the EDS Sentinel, Commander Ray Tanaka was having her own revelation. The alien ship's attack patterns had finally yielded their secret under her relentless analysis. "They're following a predetermined protocol," she murmured, studying the holographic battle replay. "These aren't tactical decisions, they're test parameters." She had spent the last 72 hours analyzing every engagement, every probe, every attack. The alien force possessed enough firepower to obliterate Earth's defenses, yet they held back, methodically testing each aspect of humanity's military response. It wasn't strategy, it was science. Back in the archives, Nixus accessed a restricted terminal, her neural interfaces bypassing centuries of security evolution in minutes. What she found sent a chill through her enhanced nervous system. Project Terra. Files dating back over 300 years, detailing the systematic manipulation of human development. Species shows unprecedented adaptive capabilities, she read from an ancient report. Genetic potential exceeds all known races. Recommend immediate implementation of Protocol Omega, guided evolution through controlled conflict. The pieces began falling into place. The Council hadn't sent her to eliminate a threat, they had sent her to test their creation. Humanity had been shaped, guided, and prepared for centuries. Their wars, their struggles, their technological leaps, all carefully orchestrated to forge them into something new. On the Sentinel, Ray made her own breakthrough. Computer, overlay all known alien attack patterns with standard scientific testing protocols. The result was undeniable, each engagement followed the exact structure of a controlled experiment, measuring everything from reaction time to strategic adaptation. We're not at war, she realized. We're being evaluated. She quickly encrypted her findings and sent them through the quantum network to Earth's Defense Command. Whatever was happening, humanity needed to understand its true position in this cosmic game. Nixus delved deeper into the archived files, her rage building with each revelation. The Council's true plan spanned millennia. Earth wasn't just another primitive world to be eliminated, it was a carefully maintained laboratory. Humanity's apparent barbarism, their constant conflicts, their rapid technological advancement, all had been subtly guided by Etherian influence. Project Terra Final Phase, read the most recent file, dated just before her mission briefing. Subject species has exceeded optimization parameters. Recommend immediate integration or termination. The words burned in her mind. Everything she had been taught about duty, about the Council's wisdom, about her own purpose, all of it built on carefully constructed lies. A security alert flashed through her neural interface. Her presence in the archives had been detected, and elite Guardian units were converging on her position. But they were too late, she had what she needed. The question now was what to do with this knowledge. In the void between Earth and Moon, the stellar blade hung silent, its crystalline surface reflecting the pale blue light of humanity's homeworld. Nixus stood at her command interface, watching tactical displays track the movements of Earth's defense fleet. Commander Tanaka had reorganized her forces into a brilliant defensive formation, turning the lunar gravity wells into force multipliers for her limited resources. Computer, Nixus commanded, prepare a secure quantum transmission, frequency matching human military protocols. She had made her decision. The Council's manipulations ended here. Humanity deserved to know the truth about their history, their purpose, and the choice that now lay before them. Aboard the Sentinel, Ray received the incoming transmission with a mixture of suspicion and curiosity. The alien ship had maintained complete communications silence until now, even as it methodically tested Earth's defenses. Whatever had changed, it had to be significant. The message that appeared on her screen was brief but world-shattering: your people were engineered for war, Commander Tanaka. But not by choice, by design. My civilization has shaped yours for centuries, and now they want to end their experiment. I refuse to be their executioner. We need to talk. As the implications of these words sank in, alarms blared throughout the Sentinel. Multiple quantum signatures had appeared at the edge of the solar system. The Council, it seemed, had decided to take direct action. Nixus's rebellion would not go unpunished, and humanity's testing phase was officially over. The next few hours would determine not just the fate of Earth, but the future of galactic civilization itself. As Nixus prepared her ship for battle and Ray rallied Earth's defenses, both warriors knew that their next decisions would reshape the cosmos. The question was no longer about victory or defeat, but about justice, truth, and the right of every species to choose its own destiny. The quantum ripples of approaching Etherian warships lit up the solar system like silent lightning. 12 capital ships, each larger than Earth's largest city, emerged from fold space in perfect formation. Their crystalline hulls gleamed with barely contained power, a sight that would have struck terror into the hearts of most species. But humans weren't most species. All Earth Defense Force units, battle stations, Commander Ray Tanaka's voice carried across the quantum comm network, steady and determined. This is not a drill. We are facing a level Omega threat. She stood on the Sentinel's bridge, watching as her tactical display filled with enemy signatures. And we're not facing it alone. The Stellar Blade, Nixus's warship, moved into position alongside the human fleet. Its advanced systems had already begun interfacing with Earth's defense network, sharing tactical data and defensive protocols. Nixus herself stood at her command nexus, her enhanced mind processing battle scenarios at quantum speeds. The Council sent the 12, she transmitted to Ray. Their most powerful warships, commanded by the oldest and most ruthless of our species. They mean to end this decisively. Her silver eyes narrowed as she analyzed their approach pattern. But they've made a critical mistake. They underestimate us, Ray replied, a slight smile playing at her lips. Both of us. In the hours since Nixus's revelation, Earth's military leadership had been briefed on the true nature of their civilization's development. Rather than breaking their spirit, the knowledge that they had been manipulated had only strengthened their resolve. The first shots came without warning. Quantum lances from the Etherian fleet cut through space, targeting Earth's orbital defense platforms. But the platforms weren't where they were supposed to be. In the precious hours before the Council's arrival, Ray had implemented what she called Operation Ghost Dance. Holographic projectors, Nixus observed with approval as the beams passed harmlessly through the fake defense platforms. Simple but effective. You've learned our weaknesses well. Your technology relies heavily on quantum targeting, Ray responded, coordinating her fleet's movement. We figured out how to exploit that during your testing phase. Sometimes the old ways work best. The real defense platforms, hidden behind retrofitted Cold War-era stealth technology, remained undetected. The space around Earth erupted into chaos as both sides engaged. The Council's ships were more powerful, their technology far superior, but they faced something unprecedented, Etherian and human military minds working in perfect synergy. Nixus's intimate knowledge of Etherian tactics combined with Ray's unconventional strategies created a defense that even the 12 struggled to penetrate. Human ships used maneuvers that defied standard combat logic, while the Stellar Blade's advanced systems provided coverage for their daring attacks. They're adapting, Nixus warned as the Council's fleet shifted formation. Supreme Commander Vexthor leads them. He won't accept defeat easily. Her ship's quantum sensors detected power buildups in the enemy vessels. They're preparing something big. Let them come, Ray replied, her fingers dancing across tactical displays as she repositioned her forces. Humanity has faced extinction before. We're still here. She opened a channel to all Earth forces. Remember your training. Remember what we fight for. And remember, we're not alone anymore. The Council's ships began a complex maneuver, their crystalline hulls resonating with building energy. They're attempting a quantum cascade, Nixus realized with growing alarm. If all 12 ships fire simultaneously, the combined effect will tear apart Earth's magnetic field. Your planet's atmosphere will be stripped away. Ray's response was immediate. All ships, execute Protocol Omega. Nixus, can your ship handle a quantum surge through its defense grid? Yes, but... Nixus paused as she grasped Ray's plan. That's incredibly dangerous. The feedback could destroy both our fleets. But it would disrupt their cascade, right? Theoretically. No one has ever attempted something like this. Then we'll be the first. Ray's voice carried absolute conviction. That's what humans do best, attempt the impossible. As the Council's ships moved into their final attack position, Earth's fleet began an intricate dance. Each vessel positioned itself precisely, creating a web of overlapping fields. The stellar blade sat at the center, its advanced systems interfacing with dozens of human ships simultaneously. Council vessels charging to maximum capacity, Nixus reported. Cascade firing sequence initiated. Her ship's crystal core hummed with building power. Whatever you're planning, Ray, we need to do it now. All ships, route emergency power to your magnetic shields, Ray commanded. Prepare for feedback surge on my mark. She watched as the enemy fleet's energy readings peaked. Remember what you told me about how humans were engineered for war? Time to show them exactly what that means. The Council's quantum cascade fired just as Earth's fleet executed their desperate gambit. The stellar blade's crystal core channeled the combined shield energy of dozens of human ships, creating a quantum feedback loop that no engineer in either civilization had ever envisioned. Space itself seemed to bend as two impossible energies collided. The quantum cascade meant to destroy Earth instead crashed against a hybrid defense grid that combined the best of both civilizations' technology. The resulting feedback surge rippled through both fleets like a tsunami through space. When the energy storm cleared, ships on both sides were damaged, some critically. But Earth still stood, its magnetic field intact, and its defenders unbowed. More importantly, the Council's perfect formation had been shattered, their carefully laid plans disrupted by an impossible alliance. Status report, Ray called out, pulling herself up from where the feedback surge had thrown her. 6 Council ships heavily damaged, Nixus responded, her voice carrying a note of pride. The others are regrouping, but their quantum resonators are destabilized. They won't be able to attempt another cascade. Good, Ray smiled grimly. Because now it's our turn to attack. Supreme Commander Vexthor's holographic image towered above the battlefield, his ancient face twisted with contempt. You protect these humans, Nixus? Our greatest warrior, defending laboratory specimens? His voice boomed across all frequencies, impossible to ignore. They were created to serve us, shaped by our wisdom across centuries. No, Nixus responded, her silver eyes fixed on the massive hologram. They were shaped by their own choices, their own struggles. We merely provided the obstacles. The stellar blade systems interfaced seamlessly with Earth's defense grid now, a marriage of technologies that shouldn't have been possible. And they've surpassed everything you intended them to be. Ray Tanaka stood on the Sentinel's bridge, watching as the combined Earth-Etherian rebel fleet regrouped around her ship. The previous battle had left both sides wounded, but humanity's forces had recovered faster, exactly as their engineering had intended. All ships, battle formation Delta, she commanded. They wanted a weapon? Let's show them what we've become. The Council's remaining ships had arranged themselves in a classic Etherian war pattern, their crystalline hulls still crackling with residual quantum energy. But something had changed. The perfect synchronization that made Etherian fleets so formidable was fractured, disrupted by doubt and uncertainty. You see it, don't you? Nixus transmitted to the Council fleet on an open channel. Look at their tactics, their adaptability. Humanity isn't just another species to be manipulated. They're what we used to be, before we became obsessed with perfection. In response, Vexthor's ships launched a barrage of quantum torpedoes, each capable of devastating a small continent. But the human fleet was already moving, executing maneuvers that defied conventional space combat doctrine. Small, agile Earth ships darted between the Council's capital ships, exploiting blind spots that shouldn't have existed in Etherian defensive systems. Their unpredictability is their strength, Nixus explained to Ray through their secure channel. The Council's tactics are based on millions of calculations, perfect probability matrices. But humans. She watched as a squadron of Earth fighters executed an impossible turn, using the gravity wake of a Council ship to slingshot themselves into firing position. Humans defy probability. The battle unfolded like a deadly dance, with neither side willing to concede. Council ships unleashed weapons that could shatter planets, only to find their targets protected by hybrid shields that combined Etherian crystal technology with human ingenuity. Earth's forces countered with strategies that evolved moment by moment, each adaptation more surprising than the last. "You were right about one thing, Vexthor," Ray transmitted as her fleet executed yet another unprecedented maneuver. "We were engineered for war. But not to be your weapons." The Sentinel dove through a gap in the Council's formation that their tactical computers had deemed too small to navigate. "We were engineered to be your successors." In the quantum archives far below Etheria Prime's surface, ancient systems hummed to life. Emergency protocols, buried deep within the crystalline matrices by long-dead dissenters, activated one by one. Across the Council fleet, command systems began displaying data that had been hidden for centuries. "What is this?" Vexthor's voice carried genuine fear for the first time in living memory. "These files, these protocols." "The truth," Nixus answered, her ship moving into position beside the Sentinel. "Our ancestors didn't create humanity to be weapons or servants. They created them to be our salvation." Her neural interfaces connected directly with the archived data, streaming the truth to every ship in both fleets. "We had become stagnant, trapped by our own perfection. They gave us a force for chaos, for change, for evolution." The revelation rippled through the Council fleet like a shockwave. Centuries of manipulation and control began to unravel as the true purpose of Project Terra became clear. Humanity hadn't been engineered to serve Etherian civilization, they had been engineered to revolutionize it. "All ships, hold fire," Ray commanded, recognizing the moment for what it was. "Let them see. Let them understand." The human fleet maintained their defensive positions, but didn't press their advantage as the Council forces struggled with their new reality. One by one, the Council ships powered down their weapons. Even Vexthor's flagship, the massive Eternal Dawn, ceased its attack preparations. In the silence that followed, Nixus opened a channel to all vessels, human and Etherian alike. "For too long, we've been bound by the lies of the past," she declared. "The Council sought to control humanity because they feared what you represented, change, growth, the beautiful chaos of true evolution. But they forgot that chaos and order are meant to exist in balance." Ray joined her transmission. "Earth extends an offer of alliance, not as servants or masters, but as equals. Together, we can forge something entirely new. A civilization that combines Etherian wisdom with human innovation. Order and chaos in perfect harmony." The response came not from Vexthor, but from the Council ships themselves. One after another, their crews declared support for the new alliance. Even the Supreme Commander, faced with the undeniable truth of his civilization's history, ultimately stood down. As the quantum dust settled and the stars shone on a changed solar system, Nixus and Ray met in person for the first time aboard a neutral station in Earth orbit. Two warriors from vastly different worlds, brought together by destiny and choice. "So," Ray smiled, extending her hand in the human gesture of friendship, "ready to help me explain to Earth's governments why they should trust the civilization that's been manipulating us for centuries?" Nixus took her hand, marveling at the simple beauty of the gesture. "Ready to help me convince my people that working with humans won't lead to complete chaos?" "Oh, it definitely will," Ray laughed. "That's kind of our specialty. But maybe that's exactly what both our civilizations need." Above them, Earth shone like a jewel against the vast canvas of space, while Etherian ships began peaceful orbits alongside human vessels. The dawn of a new era had arrived, born not from perfect calculation or raw instinct, but from the unprecedented combination of both. The fearless alien warrior had come to destroy Earth but had instead helped forge its destiny. And humanity, created to be weapons, had proven themselves to be something far more valuable, partners in the greatest adventure in galactic history. As Nixus and Ray began their work of building bridges between their peoples, new quantum signatures appeared at the edge of the solar system. Other civilizations, drawn by the unprecedented events, arrived to witness the birth of something extraordinary. The universe, it seemed, was about to become a much more interesting place.